Jerusalem, ikayalami, ilondoloze.
Hello, you're watching TRANSBRATIONS. I'm Nishan Dion. Tonight's guest is Cortlyn CoCo Bridges, a Pasadena native. She is an author, founder, and advocate. Despite the heartbreak of losing her daughter Ky in December of 2020, Cortlyn founded the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation, dedicated to supporting families affected by gun violence. With an unwavering commitment to ending gun violence in Black and Brown communities, she remains a strong advocate. Cortlyn draws strength from her faith, family, and friends, finding solace in their support during her healing journey. Her life revolves around being a mother to Ky Thomas and Kamryn Saltus, and a nana to Kylee and King, the cherished grandchildren of her late daughter Ky. Cortlyn draws strength from her unwavering faith, close-knit family, and supportive friends, finding solace in the power of forgiveness. Today marks a significant milestone in Cortlyn Bridges' journey as she releases her book, Joy Always Gets the Last Laugh. On what would have been Ky's 31st birthday, the poignant title reflects not only Cortlyn's personal journey, but also her enduring commitment to finding hope and joy despite facing unimaginable loss. The book serves as a memoir and a call to action, urging readers to join the fight against gun violence and embrace resilience in the face of adversity.
Yes. And also in the book, without
Giving it away.
without giving it away,
I got my ways to get what I need to get to extract.
but you're not gonna get it, and I got my ways. What I will say, this book, everybody, is something in it for everybody. It touches on so many different things. I kid you not. And I'm so grateful for the vision. I'm so grateful for everyone that helped with their input, my family that was able to support, and just being able to help somebody get through their journey.
How far does the book go back with your family's history? We were talking about Mentone and your great-grandfather. Does it?
No, it doesn't.
What year does it start? Like, what year does it start with?
It doesn't talk about any of that.
It's strictly based about. It's not a memoir.
It's gonna be able to help people get through their journey, but it does give them insight into me a little bit. But what I will tell you is you'll be blessed, and anybody who reads it, because people have been texting me and I'm like, oh wow, you know, so people have been texting me because they picked up books from the event,
right?
And you know, and so they've already let me know, like they've been blessed just by it, and you know, because there's something in there, it's something special in there that people could really use.
Thank you for the love and support. My girl always keeps my hair right. Them short styles, y'all. Love your point of view. I write like a doctor. I've been signing books all day and my handwriting got a little ugly. Laugh out loud.
Yeah, Chantel. Yeah. You want a hell of a short style? Oh yeah.
Chantel's the one.
Oh yes. Oh yes. See, Miss Chantel opening her book. See, she's not with the shenanigans today, y'all.
Where my signature?
There's your signature. Now, what does it say? Who are you?
I am the best hairstylist to the best hairstylist. I love you and thank you for the support. I pray that this book blessed you and helped you through that.
That's through your journey.
Through your journey.
That's my doctor's handwriting.
May your healing take place on your time. Love you, Cortlyn.
Prior to this, had you had any creative writing experience?
I would write stuff down, and it's the funniest thing in the world. I would write stuff on pieces of paper, and I still do it though. I got so many journals all over the place, and you got to put everything together. And so I got asked to speak somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "How come you don't write a book?" And I'm like, "Write no book?" And I prayed about it, and and we talked, and it was a hell of a process, I'll tell you that. But I have
What encouraged you to write?
Huh?
After that speech, someone encouraged you to write a book?
Yep. And I prayed about it. It took a while, but I had all these different like journals. Like I would just write stuff and then speaking into like recording. And then she kept saying, "Well, you need to, okay, you know, every time you get something, write it, record it, just start doing that."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had to start doing, because I would get a thought and I'm like, "Ugh," and then I go to something else. And so I had to start doing that. And over time, I just had to start doing that, because sometimes I would be like, "Oh, I forgot this and forgot that." And so over time, I had to just start doing that.
I was going to ask you what inspired you to write and publish the book so quickly. This
Well, it
person,
wasn't quickly, because it was like I had been saying I wanted to do it, but I was I was afraid, and I kept saying I couldn't do it.
oh, you were telling yourself you couldn't.
Mhm.
Why?
I'm the type of person that I'm more afraid of letting other people down than myself. And that's always been my downfall. It's like, well, what if, people, what if they don't like it, and that's
I,
always been something. Yep.
I was going to say, I wish I was like that, but I don't wish I was like that. And I'm okay with not being like
And
uh-uh.
one of my good friends who I work with, she got on me about a month ago when I took this new position. She said, "You don't worry about letting us down. You worry about letting yourself down."
Mm-hmm.
And I literally had to use that on my staff member. I had to tell that to one of my staff. And then I had to tell it to one of my clients. I work in the homeless service sector. I had to tell it to this a participant, and she's like, "I'm not gonna let you down." I said, "Listen, baby, don't worry about letting me down. You worry about letting yourself down." And
Mm-hmm.
you know how you say, "As I'm telling you," but no, as I'm speaking to you, I'm encouraging myself.
Right.
And so that's what I'm doing. And even this book, as I was writing it, and I'm saying to myself, "Okay, you're doing this to help heal somebody else, but you're healing yourself in the process." So
Mm-hmm.
as I wrote this, it was a healing process for me as
Mm-hmm.
well, because I didn't get to deal with my grief this whole time. But this was a healing process for Cortlyn. And so
Mm-hmm.
as I'm writing this book and helping other people, I got to work on me.
I'm happy that you said that, because a question that I had for you earlier, but that I wasn't going to ask you, was what has played the most significant role in your healing journey?
Is this book, and
Wow.
with the trial being over, because I'm gonna tell you something. I'm going on 4 years. I did not, through the whole trial, I did not cry through court, nothing. After court, a couple of days later, I felt like I was having a nervous breakdown. I
Mm.
cried. It was bad. It was bad, because I had to be strong through the trial. I had to be strong this whole time. And now I'm able to feel.
Mm.
I'm able to feel.
And can express yourself.
Hmm. Yep.
Sharing one's work for feedback is a key part of the writing journey. Did you share your manuscript with others for input?
I did. I did with two people.
Two people. Did you take any writing writing workshops or?
No, somebody actually, matter of fact, the two people I shared it with, they helped critique me and helped me with the editing.
Two people helped you with the critiquing and the editing?
Oh yeah, because if if I don't have on these glasses and if I'm tired, you can see half the time I have to go back on Instagram or Facebook
Oh,
because it'd be a hot mess. Everybody be like, oh, anybody who knows me knows when I don't have on my glasses or I'm tired, because they can see it. They know, oh yeah, she tired or she don't got on them glasses. And my dad is like that. I just had to
really?
correct him earlier. I'm like, Dad, where are your glasses? You're
Wow.
supposed to be putting first. That's not first.
What'd he put?
What the hell did he put? I forgot. Frist, I think. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
I had to go
Well,
back and
with
fix
seniors,
it.
it's okay. With young folks, it ain't okay though.
Listen, not when you can't see without your glasses.
What would you say to people briefly to encourage them to buy the book?
Right, Lord Jesus. Please go out and you can order the book. It would bless you. It would help you through your healing process. I would say just order it. It'll be a blessing to you through your grief journey. Even if you're not grieving, it will be able to help you in your day-to-day life. Just maneuver whatever it is you're going through, whether it's even the loss of a job. It can help you.
Grief is grief.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, which is
So-
brought on by a lot of different things. And the proceeds obviously are going to go back to the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation.
They're going back to the foundation, but also to be able to help my daughter Kamryn because
Mhm.
she wants to go to law school. So it's going to help her and then be put aside for my grandchildren for school as well. Even though
Okay.
they got a long ways, but yes.
Got a plan. Yesterday on September the 21st, the Ky Alicia Thomas Foundation hosted its inaugural National Day of Remembrance, sponsored by Pasadena City Councilman Tyron Hampton at Brookside Park, to remember and celebrate those lost too soon. And the aim was to raise $50,000. It's centered around faith, family, and friends, themes embodying the mantra, one love, one family heals together. You are not alone. The day
Yes.
featured a variety of community resources, including arts and crafts, job opportunities, youth sports programs, financial literacy workshops, and more aimed at fostering community solidarity and support. I mentioned City Council member Tyron Hampton supported it. How did you feel once Tyron Hampton signed on to sponsor the event?
It was a blessing, just to be able to have someone, to be able to say, I believe in what you're doing. That right there in itself was a blessing because no one else took that on. And I reached out to someone else and he took the task on and he was able to help with, the permits and stuff for the park. So that was amazing. And so I take my hat off to
Oh, wow.
Councilman Tyrone Hampton. Thank you.
Is it Tyrone or Tyron?
It's Tyrone. Tyrone Hampton.
Tyrone Hampton. Councilman Tyrone Hampton, the event sponsor, emphasized the importance of community involvement in healing and prevention efforts. This day is about bringing people together, providing support, and offering resources that can make a real difference in the lives of those impacted by gun violence, Hampton said.
Yes. Yes, and it was definitely impactful. We had a lot of resources out there, and
I noticed that the folks that supported, it was over a dozen.
it wasn't. So just I wanted to clarify. So the people on the banner, a lot of them were some of the vendors. There were people on there who did send in donations, which were a huge blessing. And a lot of them were people who have in the past supported as well. And so we have started, I want to say, like early last year, we were, started trying to plan for this event. And the goal was when we said 50,000, so that's ongoing. We haven't nearly reached that, but it's so that we can do things, throughout, the year. So we're still trying to, reach that. But again, I'm grateful for the support that I was able to get. I want to thank the Flint Ridge Foundation in Pasadena. They did make a donation. I did have an anonymous, somebody who donated anonymously. Also, Brittany Xavier, that's a organization that donated. Westcom donated, which was amazing. Tarzana Treatment Center, they also donated. It was a blessing. I had a group of people that some of my friends did fundraisers, and they, took on donations, and they donated the Courtyard Marriott in Pasadena. They donated some comp nights. The Carson, Doubletree and Carson donated the residency in downtown Burbank. Who else? My neighbor actually used to work for ESPN. He donated a signed autographed glove from the boxer Canelo. He's a boxer, Canelo, that's his name. And then Simply Divine Hair School they're in Monrovia, Keisha Darden, but she also has a beauty supply and is opening a hair school in Pasadena, was going to be in Altadena. She actually donated tuition for someone to attend hair school, and that's over $10,000. It's actually, we're going to be running it for 2 weeks. So it's for somebody that wants to go to hair school, and we'll be doing the raffle for 2 weeks, and it's $5. So anybody that wants to go to hair school, it's a paid tuition, and the proceeds will go to my daughter's foundation. So the raffle tickets are $5, and they can go to hair school, and it's one paid tuition. And I thought that was such a blessing for her to be able to offer that to, hair cosmetology school is expensive, and it's a
My
Black
mom's
owned business.
Okay, yeah.
But it was amazing. So yes, thank you so much.
Hey everybody, we are now in the school space. I want to show you some of my students providing services. We now offer facials, manicures. Come through, check us out. If you've ever thought about getting your license, we got you. So we are now providing facial services. So the school is really coming together. We have students doing all types of services. That's Miss Joanna. So our esthetician class is now going. It's night class, Monday through Thursday, 5 to 9. We do cosmetology and barbering. We have day programs and night programs. So if you know anybody that is interested in getting their license, please tell them to give us a call.
I want to go back to Tyron Hampton. You said, I'm grateful for Tyron Hampton's collaboration and commitment to our community. Your selfless spirit is contagious, and together we're proving that collective action can lead to meaningful, lasting change.
That's right. Yes. And again, he was the only council person, because I reached out to someone else, but he was the only person that took on and said, you know what, I want to do this. And so I'm so grateful to him.
Is Brookside in his district?
Brookside is his district, but it could have been at any other park.
True. Right. Right. You said, to my amazing family and friends, thank you for being my rock. Your love and support gives me strength to face today's challenges. Though I'm exhausted and in pain, I know better days are ahead. I'm grateful for your prayers and promise to do the same for you. Stay empowered and remember to make your voice heard by voting. Yeah. Was it a coincidence that you hosted the event on September the 21st, which was World Peace Day? Were you aware that World Peace Day was September the 21st?
I wasn't, because National Day of Remembrance is actually September 25th for homicide victims.
Oh, that's what that is.
Yes.
How long has that been around?
That's been around for
decades.
They implemented it, I want to say, I think they said after 9/11, somewhere around there.
Okay, I didn't know that. I did not know. I did not.
Somewhere around there, and I didn't know about any of this until, again, after my daughter was killed. So that's how I found out, I got involved in all of it.
Everywhere we look, peace is under attack. From Gaza to Sudan to Ukraine and beyond, we see civilians in the firing line, homes blown apart, traumatized, terrified populations who have lost everything and sometimes everyone. And this catalogue of human misery must stop. Our world needs peace. Peace is the ultimate prize for all humanity. And as this International Day of Peace reminds us, the solutions are in our hands. Cultivating a culture of peace means replacing division, disempowerment, and despair with justice, equality, and hope for all. It means focusing on preventing conflict, propelling the Sustainable Development Goals, promoting human rights, and tackling all forms of discrimination and hate. This month's Summit of the Future is a vital opportunity to advance these aims. Let's seize it. Together, let's lay the groundwork for peace, and let's nurture a culture where equality, peace, and justice thrive.
What was the highlight of the event for you?
Jonathan Hatami coming, and
Who's running for GA for LA?
he was
he
ran against all the candidates, and he
Mhm.
didn't make it because he didn't have all the money like some of the other candidates. But that's yeah.
That was the highlight?
Team Hatami
That was okay.
for
Okay.
life.
We're talking about the September the 25th being National Homicide Day.
Oh yeah, see, see, that's what happened when you get old. That's what it was.
All donations will support the National Day of Remembrance and will be reinvested into the communities the foundation serves, helping to expand programs that provide vital resources and assistance to those affected by violence and tragedy. No, you're not. You're not relaxing from yesterday's event yet because you're here with me and you're ready to go. When will you start planning the National Day of Remembrance for 2025? Is it going to happen?
Yes, because they've already asked me about it.
Okay, so it's gonna be in the works. Brookside,
I don't.
not sure.
No, I don't think it's gonna be at Brookside.
I remember I used to have events down there. We had a family reunion down there. So I saved the best for last. Okay, Cortlyn, you'll enjoy this. You get to bash your man. No.
Oh, you must be talking about that clown.
There's only one.
Yep.
LA County District Attorney Gascon seat is up for re-election. You've been very outspoken about Gascon. Am I saying it right, Gascon? Gascon, yeah, Gascon. What are your views on him?
Well,
Respectfully.
respectfully,
Mhm.
he know how I feel about him.
Yeah.
Him and everybody in the world, because I've been on various platforms,
You have.
and my stance has not changed, and it will not change. He is just as guilty as the people who pulled the trigger. Even though I have been an advocate for forgiveness, not on him. God's still working on me with that cat. And it's because he doesn't care. He plays off of the Black and brown community. He has no heart. Anytime you can say or let me rephrase it. anytime you want to allow a murderer to be resentenced, we don't get second chances. Murder victims' families don't get second chances. Anytime you want to not allow those gang enhancements to go forth, anytime you want to allow a juvenile that knew what he was doing when he decided to go out there and run with his homeboys, you always hear people say, oh, well, they don't know what they was thinking. Come on now.
Mm. And sometimes they say they didn't know where they were going or what they were doing.
That's a damn lie.
To escape accountability, yeah. Can I read a few quotes?
From who?
From
Oh,
some
from
of the,
me?
from some of the platforms you've spoken on, some of your...
Oh, yeah, I thought you was going to say Gascon, because if you was going to say Gascon,
Oh, you was about to end the... It's over. It was
I
a
was
wrap.
about to say cut, because I've heard enough of his,
Oh,
excuse
no,
my
no, no.
language.
Oh, no. I actually have nothing. No, his voice is not. No.
Mm.
Taking a swipe at
Mm.
Gascon's claims that he has made Los Angeles County safer, Bridges called the soft on crime district attorney an opportunist and cited her disagreement with his policies. I voted him in. I don't know what I was thinking, but his policies are not correct. Since he's been in office, he's let murderers out and they committed crimes again. She said, pointing to her sweatshirt bearing a photo of her daughter. To Gascon, you killed my daughter and all the other kids that have been killed and the parents aren't getting justice. You got that on your back.
That's right. He's a crime boss. That's in there too.
Your time is up. You've caused enough families enough pain. Bye-bye, people. It's time to vote.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that said, I obviously don't need to ask you, why do you believe he shouldn't be reelected?
Yep, it's time to go. His time has been up. His time.
For Mr. Gaston, my name is Cortlyn Bridges. I'm sure you know who I am. You see me in the news and everywhere else. My daughter was Ky Alicia Thomas, who was murdered December 1st, 2020. Because of your policies, there were 3 people in my daughter's case. There was a juvenile who was sentenced and did no jail time. He got 80 hours of community service. He was told to obey his parents and told to be able to graduate from school, and then was told to listen to his parents and not be around the gang members. Second person, he was given 5 years, 4 months. Conspiracy to commit assault with a deadly weapon. We just finished her murder trial, and all these are gang members. It's been recorded that it was gang members, it was a gang case. If you run the case, anybody can look at it as public record. The last person in the case was disrespectful to the judge, disrespectful in the court. All the pictures showed it was a gang case. It said it was a gang case. This happened at Venice Beach in 2020. The person on the case, I'm gonna not say his name, but the person who was accused of killing my daughter was charged with assault, conspiracy to commit assault with a deadly weapon. No.
Pasadena Police Officers Association endorsed Nathan Hotchman for LA County District Attorney, citing his ongoing support for public safety and distinguished career in public service. A recent poll shows Hotchman leading with 45% of likely voters compared to 20% for George Gascon, with the remainder undecided in the race for LA County's top law enforcement officer. Hotchman has won endorsements from numerous other law enforcement organizations. So, how does that sound to you?
It sounds fine.
Fine.
For me, and I'm gonna be honest with you, what I've learned is, so those undecided, I'm in that undecided, but if you're undecided, those votes will end up going with that clown. So therefore that means I'm gonna have to vote for Hotchman I don't endorse him, but if we don't vote for him, that vote will go towards that clown. I'm Team Hatami, even though he's not on the ballot. I was gonna write his name in on my ballot.
My next question was going to be, who are you voting for? And today you posted something and you said, Jonathan Hatami deserves my deepest gratitude for his exceptional leadership, forever solidifying his position as my top choice for district attorney. His dedication to our community remains unwavering, regardless of opposing candidates. We appreciate his steadfast support and commitment to serving with integrity. Jonathan's authenticity and compassion, evident in his community interactions, exemplify the true qualities of a distinguished district attorney.
Yep.
Period.
And the reason why is because he is for victims, families, and victims. What you see with him is what you get. I knew him before he ran for DA. He has always been out with the families in the trenches. Like he's real. He's as real as they get. Nathan Hoffman came to my event yesterday.
Oh, he was there?
He was there.
Oh.
Jonathan and Tommy was there too.
And besides Hampton and these two, were there any other politicians?
No.
Just those three?
Mm-hmm. Yes. But Nathan Hoffman, I was asked if he could speak. He spoke, but Jonathan and Tommy spoke.
There's video footage of them speaking?
Of Hatami, I don't know who taped. Oh, I think Kathy Katie might have videotaped Hotchman. I didn't tape him, but Hatami, I taped it because I love Hatami.
So maybe, so the question was, who are you voting for? You said Hatami, right?
Hatami.
Yeah. Hatami's got your vote. Tell the people in LA County, vote for Hatami. He's for the victims of crime families, supports victims of crime families.
And public safety.
And public safety. In August of 2021, a petition was started that stated, we would like the mayor and the city council members to acknowledge the violence at the Venice Beach Boardwalk that tragically took Ky Alicia Thomas's life on December the 1st, 2020. We are in hope that Venice Beach will honor Ky by creating a memorial site where she was killed at and create a college fund in Ky's name for her 2 children she left behind to honor her life. Please help us spread the word and help stop gun violence.
Yes. And has anything been done with that? No.
The petition gained over 2,100 signatures.
Well, I don't have no memorial at Venice Beach.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get that memorial, God willing. They gonna give me something. If they can give me a plaque with Kai's name on it somewhere over there on that bench or something. They need something over there because it's necessary. That's all I'll say.
Cortlyn Bridges stands as a beacon of hope, turning tragedy into triumph, ensuring that her daughter Ky's memory will forever be associated with a legacy of change and healing. And that comment was by Rochelle Jones, Pasadena Black Pages. How do you feel about that statement?
It was an honor for her to write that, and it made me smile. It made me smile. I was grateful. I'm grateful for all the kind words that people are writing and just helping everybody, trying to help keep Ky's memory alive. But yes, I am trying to, be a beacon of light, but not just for Ky, but for others, because there are, mothers that don't know how to be the voice for their loved ones, for their children. So yeah.
And that is understandable. Everyone doesn't know how to cope with grief, and everyone's situation is different. Yeah. And their community, their culture, their religious beliefs is everything is situational. It's not, yeah. What does your story end with and why?
My story ends in praise. And
Mhm.
why? Because I can't allow my pain
Mhm.
to take something that is beyond my control. So I just say, this too shall pass.
And
And
I
that's my why.
and I ask you that particular question because you have a quote that you say, "My story ends with praise." So that's why I said, "Why does your story? What does your story end with, and why?" So
Mm. I mean, I have, I have to. I gotta. And if you knew, if you knew my story, and when you read that book, you'll know.
Mhm.
And that's what I'll tell you. Without reading, without me giving you too much,
Mhm.
that book will let you know why my story ends
With praise.
in praise.
Great, gotcha.
And that's why I say my story ends in praise.
So
Because
if people want to find out and learn why your story ends with praise, obviously get the book. That may yeah.
get the book and
Mhm.
continue to support not just me, support a nonprofit that speaks to your heart,
Right.
and get involved before you're forced to be involved. Whether it be gun violence, whether it be cancer, whether it be domestic violence,
Violence.
whether it be anything that speaks to your heart, bullying, anything that speaks to you, get involved before you're forced to.
And October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
Yep, October. And then this month is suicide awareness prevention.
You're right. You're right. What is your hope for the future?
Peace,
Mhm.
more love to bring
Mhm.
awareness and this understanding. That's honestly, that's my hope for just peace. Peace. Peace in our community. And I I can't say in the world, because if we don't have it in our community, how can we have it in the world? It starts in our community.
Right.
You can't go outside your backyard and
Mhm.
expect to do it somewhere else until you start in your backyard.
Starts at home.
Yep. So just peace. My granddaughter always says, what the world needs more of, Nana, is love.
Lauryn Hill has a song that I find myself singing and playing. I gotta find peace of mind. I gotta find peace of mind. I like that song a lot.
Yep.
Peace is a
You can't buy it. You
peace
can't
is
buy it.
it's a luxury, and I say to people, emotional support is worth
Yeah.
more than
Yeah.
silver and gold and all the riches combined in the world.
That's right.
And well, I won't say I'm sure, but I think a lot of people are not a lot. I think there's many people who they're unaware of actually like what emotional support actually is, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but
And just
that emotional support can turn a brick into a rose
that's
in a
right.
sense, or compassion.
Hmm.
It does heal. It heals. And when people say, how are you doing today? Or, how are you? And I find that people don't really ask that. And maybe, they don't care, they don't want to know. But if more people actually, how are you doing today? Are you okay? How do you feel? And
Hmm.
it's not obviously physical, you know. our emotions, everything is fluctuating by the minute. You know, some people's more intense than others for various reasons. But if more people took the time to actually, you know, what's going on? It's a possibility their loved one may have not committed suicide. It's a possibility that that child wouldn't have went to the school and killed a
That's
dozen of
right.
his classmates.
That's right.
People are not communicating, but they're also, from my point of view and things that they're not listening. And some people refuse to listen, you know, for various reasons, and that is what it is. But a lot of things could definitely be avoided. And I'm not going to say if people opened up their hearts and minds. I'm not going to say that. But if people just actually realized, you know, that's a human, and that's a human, and that's a human, and that's a human. You know, you want to be treated like a human, but you don't want them to be treated like a human. It doesn't
right.
work. It doesn't work that way. And that's across the board for everybody. And I see so many groups, and I'm not going to name the groups, and races and cultures and genders saying they want equality and they want justice. And I see those very same people acting in a manner that it's like, wait a minute, you want that, but you do. Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm sometimes just pretty surprised by the things that I see, but then what I hear, obviously the hypocrisy, a lot of stuff with the politicians. At times it really does seem as if people don't care, but they care once you said they're forced to care. And you don't want to be in that situation. You don't want to be, and you can turn the blind eye to other people's suffering and to other people's pain and drama and mental health issues or whatever. And some people feel like, oh, they deserved it or they brought it on themselves or whatever, you know. But then what happens when you get that knock on your door or that phone call?
That's right.
And in your film, the film's trailer, there's a part, you know, where it's something about, you know, that when that mother gets that call and that scream, that how,
That's
you
right.
know, and I've never experienced that, but my family members have, you know.
Dude, how it's not even done.
When I was 13, I seen my cousin get smoked right in front of me. Basically, everybody thought it was fireworks. We looked down the street, flames this long coming out of barrels.
There was a kid that was bullying me, talking shit. I got my cousin's 45, and I had every intention of when he got off the bus walking down to that park and murdering him.
I was 12 years old. I was about to be 13, and it was already understood in my brain that I wasn't gonna never be nowhere without a gun again.
Guns are an evolved tool that allow people to do more proficiently what we've been doing since the beginning of time.
And what happens is this: you're always gonna hear that mother, hear that family howl, and you'll never forget that.
Since the 1980s, I've known dozens of Black folks in Altadena and Pasadena who have been shot and killed, including my former childhood friend, Monroe Monty Miles, lived up in the meadows in Altadena, overlooking JPL. Me and my brother my family used to swim at their home. They were Jehovah's Witnesses. Mrs. Miles, Sylvia Miles, made great pasta. Mr. Miles is a dentist. I don't know if he's retired. At one point, my family lived up in the meadows. Me and my brother would walk down a few blocks, less than 5 minutes to their home. A memory stands out. We were there for a gathering at their home. I was in the pool, and I wasn't say I was drowning, but I was struggling. Even though we had mommy and me classes at Loma Alta, I was struggling. My mother's hair was done. My mother's hair was laid. And my mother jumped in that pool, and she messed up her hair to get me to safety. And, you know, when I had heard about Monty's situation, it was really, really unfortunate. Monty was the first person in my community and a friend that I lost to gun violence. And even though that happened as an adult, I believe that was in 2008 or 2009. And I remember specifically they had a service for him at Elliott. I believe his mother taught at Elliott with special needs kids or something. She was employed at Elliott. And I remember going up to someone's home later on that night up in the meadows, and I had saw Mark, and his brother, I hadn't seen Mark since I was like I want to say like a teen or something. And I had actually went up there with my sister Naomi. Went up there. Monty, it was me, I think Milton. I don't know if Courtney and Devin went. They probably did, but yeah, we had went to pay our respects to Monty. It was also a former classmate, Bashir Malik Abdullah from Altadena, and I didn't find out about his passing until like maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and I was surprised when I stumbled across his name. No one had told me, or I hadn't heard it or seen anything on social media, and that was, I think, in 2005, 6 or 7. That was almost 20 years ago. I want to say that one escaped me. I didn't know, but I remember Bashir. We went to Marshall, but Bashir also was up there situated. He was up there somewhere near Loma Alta Park. So when I read his name and saw his name, I was, this is somebody that I knew, somebody that I would have seen on a daily basis at school, somewhere up there around, the liquor store, George's Liquor. He was in the community. Not only have I known some of the victims, I've also known some of the shooters, not personally, or, friendship wise, but I've known of them, known who they were. They were in my community. That I know of, you are the first person from Pasadena to act by establishing a foundation to help the community heal and grieve. You are, correct?
There's another lady, but she lives, I don't know where she lives at now. Her son was killed some years before Ky. Her name is Yvonne Trice. Her son's name was,
Did he go to Mir? They have a memorial scholarship for a male at Mir, but I mean, I don't know if he's a victim of gun violence, but I'm wondering if
that's not him.
Yvonne Trice?
Yes. Her son is called A Mother's Voice.
Okay, thank you for sharing that, because I'll have to look that up. I wasn't aware of her.
Yes.
This is to teach you to believe that there is nothing in violence at all. This is the forgiveness day to me. Yeah. So everybody that has odd and mad and upset, I'm asking you to stand in me with agreements of amen if you believe what I'm saying. If you don't, I understand, and I ask that you please step back, because I'm not with that today. Amen. What do we want? Peace! When do we want it? Now! When do we want? Peace! When do we want it? Now! What do you want? Peace!
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation.
I didn't know of anybody who would ever, and there's been, I hate to say, dozens of victims. My first memory of young boys in Pasadena were the victims of the Halloween. Reggie Coates and Stephen Coates, Reggie Crawford and Edgar Evans. I didn't know them personally, but, as a teenage boy, hearing about that, it was like, very unfortunate. But that's when that opened up my eyes to, that. So my question was going to be, why do you think no one else stepped up and created a foundation as you did? I know you just mentioned Yvonne, but I'm saying prior to her, why do you think no one stepped up to the plate and had ever considered,
I don't know, but I don't know, but I do know people have, have, you know, maybe started support groups, but then I know I was told that, you know, it was hard trying to get people to go to them. But like I said, I just feel like, you know, even if you have to step outside of your own four walls and just, you know, continue, you know, like I said, if that one person, you know, you get that one person that comes and attend, then you just just stay at it. That's what I would say.
And so I'm gonna say this, and I hadn't planned on saying it. You know, I was there again that day, and I've read a lot about you, and I kept seeing things about your organization, your foundation, and read the things about the book. I didn't have any plans of ever contacting you, or I guess, you know, communicating with you. I didn't, you know, feel the need to or see the reason to, just because I was there, you know, afterwards, and I didn't know how to. I had never even thought, you know, to approach you. But because I was going to be doing a documentary about my personal life and gun violence in my community and mental health, that is what made me finally reach out. That, and, you know, some other things I won't go into detail, but I wasn't expecting to create this kind of dialogue with you. Like I said, you are the first person that I've interviewed, you know, that deals with this topic, which is very personal to myself. With the grace of God, I am a survivor of gun violence, and I'm going to end this with honoring the names of family members and community members and folks who are in my circle of life who have fallen victim to gun violence. So I'm going back to 1923 to Marshall, Texas. I have a list of over 3 dozen because I had been doing that for my book research and just working on compiling some information and stuff, but I'm only going to share a few. My great-grandmother, Zephyr Smith Scott, my great-grandmother, Beatrice Shiloh Anderson, both of them were from Texas. I mentioned Reggie Crawford, Stephen Colton, Edgar Evans. Although I didn't know them, they were in our community. The first person, the first Black person, the first male who I had talked to and met and visited their home was a guy named Derek. I don't have his last name, but this was around 95 or 96. Derek was shot and killed in Inglewood, and he was the first person, victim of gun violence, whose funeral I went to support my cousin, Angie. She was dating him at the time. And Derek's mother, Ernestine Evans Bowman, she passed away, I think 3 or 4 years ago. She kind of took my cousin in kind of like as her, I don't want to say daughter, but they developed a friendship, a relationship. Her kids kind of became like Ernestine's like grandkids. And I would go over there, you know, for Thanksgiving. She ended up becoming my extended family too, right over there off of Manchester and Century and Crenshaw. I'm smiling thinking about her. We called her Teen. Her name was Teen. So she was the first person that I knew who lost a loved one to gun violence. My schoolmate, Anthony Isaiah Prudhomme. I didn't know him, but I went to Blair with him.
I know his mother very well. It's a picture of, I know Louisa.
Do you?
Yes, he's on my banner, and there's a picture on my page with me and his mom. She came and got a book on yesterday.
Did she?
Had me sign it to him.
Did she?
In loving memory of Anthony.
Wow. I remember him. We went to Blair together. And I remember, you know, hearing about the story some years later. But I lived in Highland Park briefly in 1997. And, you know, I know all of those details, and I'm not going to go into that. But I remember, you know, my schoolmate, Anthony. My first love, Saeed Yusuf Bey. My cousin, Mark Porter. My friend.
Wait, Mark Porter.
Mhm.
So you're related to Madeline and
Maxine.
yeah,
The Wil- the
Sheree.
Wil-
That's my cousin, Sheree Wilkes.
Huh?
Sheree.
How
Yeah.
are you? How are you related to the Wilkes?
So Sheree's father, me and Sheree are cousins. That is
Who are
Sheree, Dorothy. So Dorothy is Maxine's mother's sister, and Sheree's dad is my cousin. Me and Sheree are cousins. That is too funny.
So when I was being told that you were related to my family, that Ky was related to us, you're saying that that is true.
So me and Sheree are cousins.
Okay, so my grandma is Thelma Wilkes Scott, was Thelma Wilkes Scott. She's a Wilkes.
So my cousins, was that Sheree's grandmother? Because Sheree is related to me on my mom's side. Sheree's mother is a Wilkes.
What's her mama's name?
Her mom name is Dorothy.
Is Dorothy alive still?
Yeah.
Who's Dorothy's mama?
Linda and Dorothy and all of them are sisters. Dorothy is Maxine's auntie. It was her mom's sister.
I know Linda, Maxine.
Linda was Maxine's mom.
She recently passed.
Yep.
Did you go to her service?
I didn't go. Mm-mm.
So, Cortlyn.
Maxine, so me and Sheree are blood cousins. And Maxine and Sheree are blood cousins.
Through the Wilkes.
Yes. But Sheree is related to me on her dad's side. She's related to Maxine on her mom's side.
There's some family history there. We'll say
yes.
that.
Yes.
Okay. I don't. So whoever was telling me that in the beginning was telling me that for that reason, because
probably because they probably knew you were related to Sheree, and Sheree is my cousin. We're blood cousins. Sheree was just at my event on Saturday. Me and Sheree are blood cousins. I'm gonna send you a picture. I got a picture in my phone, I think, with Sheree.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Mark Porter was my cousin.
Yep. He was killed. Yep. They called him Goldie, and he's on my banner.
He's on your banner.
Yep.
I didn't know him personally, but I'm aware that he was killed somewhere in East LA and that it's still unsolved.
Yep. Teresa is his older sister.
And that was in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There's another Wilkes who committed suicide. I can't think of his name though. I want to say Robert Wilkes, but I don't want to. But yeah, there was yeah.
That's Charles's brother.
But then there's
committed suicide.
Huh?
I didn't know Robert committed suicide. I know Robert died. Excuse me. I didn't know how, but yeah.
There was a Wilkes male who committed suicide.
Oh wow.
Some years ago, maybe a decade ago. Wasn't he passed?
I don't know how long Robert's been dead.
I don't think I'm wrong, but my cousin Charles Wilkes, he passed away about 2 or 3 years ago. And that would have been, I think it was related to his initial injuries from almost 20 years ago. Or am I wrong?
I don't know.
But you knew he passed, right?
I think he did. Was he in a wheelchair?
Yeah, he was paralyzed.
Yep. Yep.
If I'm under
That
the
was Evie's. That was Evie's son. Yep, his mom's name is Evie.
yeah,
We
I
called her Evie.
I believe he was paralyzed by someone from his own gang. I believe that was the situation.
I can't remember. I just remember he was in a wheelchair. Yep, we all. Yep, that's crazy.
Yeah, my neighbor Ky Alicia Thomas, and most recently my cousin Damian Allen Henninger. He lived up in Palmdale, and that was in January of 2021, and his murder is still unsolved.
Amen.
So those are just a few. So, you know, I would get phone calls, you know, and sometimes I didn't want to respond to my mother's messages, or I didn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it. What do you say when you keep getting those phone calls, you know, or what do you say when your relative, you know, gets shot at 14 times and hits with 9 hollow point bullets and has to have 56 operations and now only has 1 testicle? Those are warlike injuries. Those are warlike injuries. So there was no way that I could not talk to you. You know, obviously it was sooner than later. I think everything is great what you're doing, that you have the strength, you have the energy, that you care. Are there any names that you want to mention?
On my banner alone, I have 14 family members on my banner.
From your family?
Yep. On my dad, on my dad's side, there's a lot. Yep. I have, yep, it's a lot.
Based in California or just in other state? LA County? Okay.
Yep, I have a lot of friends. And I did a podcast almost a month ago and didn't realize that my first experience with gun violence was my cousin, and I had to be I was young. He was killed in LA. He lived in LA. He had to be like 13, 14. So that was my first experience with gun violence. And then after that, I had a friend who was killed when we was in junior high in Rialto. And after that, it just trickled down. I had a friend who, you know, so it just, and after that, it just, you know, I think I had ended up becoming just numb to it after that point. Yeah.
Very, very, not saying appropriate, but it will come with no surprise that you would actually end up creating a foundation and doing the work that you are doing. Would you say you feel like it's your calling?
Yeah, I do. I do. Yep, I do.
Wow. You're getting ready for your cruise. Where you going?
I'm taking a mini cruise to Baja, Mexico, Ensenada. So I've never been on a cruise and I didn't want to go.
You going on the cruise next week?
No, Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay, because I got a friend going on a cruise. I think next weekend, like a 3-day cruise. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. What if y'all end up being on the same?
Yes.
This is my really, really good friend, and I tell him almost everything, and we've been conversing and stuff, you know, talking about the interview and everything, and and I was I was talking about you, and he was like, Cortlyn, and I was like, I was like, not you knowing her name like that. Like, I haven't said your name like a dozen times or whatever, but it's that impactful already. And you keep saying, you know, if you just made, you know, in one person's life, and you are making an impact. You are making an impact, Cortlyn. You are. You really, really are. As someone who is a survivor who almost lost their life, I wish that the resources that are available now for victims of crimes, even though there was victims of crime, but back then there was no witness impact. Is it witness impact?
Yep.
The amount of resources that are available now, I'm like, wow, just wow. There's so much support, you know, to make, you know, I had to figure out so many things on my own and, you know, discover things, and no one told me or, you know, held my hand. It was very much, you know, I testified, it was over with. You know, you are making it easier for people to heal and to go on that journey and not feel alone. I don't believe there were organizations like that around in 1997 or 98. There may have been one or two, but there definitely wasn't any in that I know of. My community, our community. So, you know, yeah. I even though I am not, you know, accessing services, I can still extend, you know, my gratitude and say thank you. You know, it people need to care, you know, because it is a world epidemic, and it doesn't have to continue to snowball as it is and as it has. So, yeah, thank you, Cortlyn.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. You are welcome. Cortlyn, for the world, I could not understand why my cousin was telling me that this, you know, at that time, it was like this girl. I didn't know her. I never heard of her name. She couldn't be related. And speaking of my family, during our 2-hour phone call, which was at the beginning of August, and then we had a pre-interview at the end of August. During our 2-hour phone call back in the beginning of August, we were just having a general conversation. And at that time, you know, I knew who you were and about the foundation and everything. We had never had any contact prior to you know, this at all. I've never met you in person. You've never met me, but it is a high possibility and probability that we either cross paths, glanced at each other, that I saw you around the apartment complex where my mother lives at, because you guys were neighbors. And I remember my nephew Devin telling me that, well, you know, after everything happened with Ky, I was reading the newspapers and stuff, and I realized she was from Pasadena. Some people were telling me that she was related to us, and I said, no, I would know if she was related to us. There's no relation whatsoever. And looking back at it now, I see why people were saying that. You know, she was from Pasadena, but your family lived next door to my mother for a number of years. And during our conversation that came out, I had forgot that my nephew told me that like three or, you know, some years ago. I totally, so much has happened. I just forgot, but I knew, you know, she was from Pasadena.
Oh,
it makes sense. It makes sense now. It's all, it makes sense.
They look good. And Sheree looked just like, oh, wait, I'm tripping. Let me.
Sheree Wells. Yeah, we better end this conversation. You know, you keep talking and you keep, look, Cortlyn, you know, you keep talking and you keep talking and you keep, you connect the dots and the I's, and, you know, we mentioned Lori, and then we'll be mentioning somebody's dog, and then we'll be mentioning somebody's cat. It's like, it's got to end.
Yeah.
You just sent it?
Yep, on this and Matlin.
Sheree Wilkes, but yeah, I know who that is.
Here go all of them right here.
Who's that male in the picture with the W on the hat?
Oh, I don't know who is. Let me see.
That's not Mark Porter, is it? No.
Mm.
I think my mother would smile at you with her knowing that you are related to our family.
I'm related to Sheree.
Right.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna send you this one. This is 22, but you can see. I just sent it to you. Yep, but Sheree, yep, Dorothy's daughter. And Gary is Sheree's dad.
Wow. Wow. I know her. I know who she is. Cortlyn, I want to thank you again for giving me your time and your energy, and for allowing me access to your personal and private life, and for sharing it with me, and for sharing Ky with us and your literature and everything you're doing. Thank you. And I hope I was, as sensitive. I hope I was,
You were fine. You were fine.
I was like, I understand the sensitivity. So yeah.
You're fine. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
I will put your book in the mail tomorrow before I go on my cruise.
Good night.
Yes. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Okay.
Thank you very much. Rest well.
Okay.
Having worked for many years in one of the bigger trauma centers, I had way too much experience with gun violence. To see the tragedy being part of trying to keep people alive after mass shootings, but more commonly wrapping 5 teenage boys up on Mother's Day from mass shootings on the street here. I think that you never get over those cases. You don't get over a 4-year-old who found a gun in the house that didn't have a gun lock and they've shot themselves. Violence is a health care emergency.
I work to end gun violence because my younger brother was killed 29 years ago. And more recently, my 2 nephews, brothers, they were killed during the pandemic. That is why I work to end gun violence.
I work to end gun violence because all too often here in Los Angeles, we are too familiar with the pain and the trauma associated with gun violence. I work to end gun violence because I hope that one day my children can live in a community where they don't have to worry about victimization. I work to end gun violence to create a safe space for community members and the youth to cohabitate and to hash out any problems that they might have without resulting in violence.
Mi nombre es María Sánchez y yo trabajo para prevenir la violencia con arma, ya que actualmente el sistema no puede prevenir la violencia.
I work to end gun violence because we need to disarm hate.
I work to end gun violence because I am a survivor of gun violence. I also work to end gun violence to prevent the harm that has been done in our community with guns. I also create safe spaces for our loved ones who have lost loved ones to gun violence.
I work to end gun violence because in 2010, it hit close to home. My younger brother was murdered. In 2016, it hit close to home again with my second younger brother being murdered. I work to end gun violence because I have 3 sons, a large family, many community members and friends that I care about. Creating safe spaces and environments for us to grow and heal and just be at peace is important. So that's why I work to end gun violence.
I work to end gun violence because I am a survivor of gun violence. And I work in this community because it's needed for the kids.
I work to end gun violence because I believe that we're all entitled to a healthy, safe, and thriving community. I work to end gun violence because as a mother, I believe that my children and all children should be and are entitled to a healthy childhood without the fear of hurt, harm, and abuse. I work to end gun violence because as a domestic violence advocate, 50% of women who are murdered by their intimate partner are killed when there is an involvement of a firearm. And I believe that ending gun violence is 100% preventable.
Jerusalem, Ky Alicia